Hey guys, what's going on? It's Kevin here to bring you a new video today. For today, I'm going to be talking about a film that I just recently watched, which may have some differing opinions on, just due to the nature of the film and the time that it was brought up in, and also just, yeah, what the film was. So I watched the film. Yep, you guessed it, Freaky Friday. That's right. Um, yeah, so this film was pretty good, actually. Some people probably wouldn't think it was good just because it's different. It's more of like a family movie. It's not like violent at all. It's very like family friendly. I mean, it's a Disney movie, so like of course it's gonna be like more like kid like, meant for kids. And in case it didn't let you know enough, it you see like a logo like three times in the movie, and you're like, okay, it's a Disney movie. We get it. It's a Disney movie, and interestingly enough, it has Lindsay Lohan, before she went out the deep end, and then Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a great actress that I love as well. Um, I don't like Lindsay Lohan as much, but I do like Jamie Lee Curtis a lot. She's been in a lot of good movies, but this one was fun. I really liked it, a good amount. I wouldn't say it was like amazing, but it was pretty entertaining to watch. Essentially, it's like a story of two people who like are mother and daughter. They trade bodies, and this was like after like they were having like conflicts with each other, and um, like the what they dealt with in their lives. And her mom was like always like on her about stuff, and gave her a hard time for doing bad at school, and not getting along, and wanted to get a boyfriend, and that also like shook things up. And then like her mom, was getting married, so that made for interesting conflict when they end up switching bodies with each other. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of wacky with like how they switch bodies. Like they both like open a fortune cookie at the same time, and then they just like they have like an earthquake and they like change bodies. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to see. It's something you definitely hadn't seen before at that time, and something that's rarely explored. Where the idea of like two people switching bodies. I mean, it's a cool concept. I mean, I'm sure it's probably been done before in some instances, but in this instance, it was interesting because you get to see her mom try to live the life in Lindsay Lohan's body, which is, in my opinion, more fun than Jamie Lee Curtis. Her mom trying to live, or Anna, her daughter, trying to live her life in her mom's body. That was just kind of like weird, but also good. Um, but yeah, no, it's like it explores like the idea of like um, what it's like to see yourself in someone else's shoes when maybe it's not so easy to you know live the life of someone else, even though you're giving them all this crap about like what they're going through. And like it kind of has like a cool theme to it. But yeah, what am I kidding? It's a little cringy at times, I won't lie. It's also very like 2000s, like very 2000s. Like when you watch this movie, you're like, this movie is like so old. Like what the fuck? Like it's playing "Hit Me Baby One More Time" and like "What I Like About You," and just different songs that are much more in tune with that time. Like I watched a lot of movies as a kid, like kid like movies, when I was like a lot younger, like Shark Tale, like Mike, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., Spy Kids, and like this was just one of those movies that I feel like kind of slipped away from me. Maybe I might have caught glimpses of it as a kid, but I don't recall ever really watching it. Um, and this was one of those classic movies that had the sorry, I'm getting out of focus. This was one of the classic movies that had the "coming soon" to theaters and like the blue screen. Like that's my childhood right there. I remember that. I remember seeing that all the time when I used to watch those movies, like this one, from like that time period. They just, for some reason, all DVDs from that era we're doing that, even though like a lot of DVDs that I watch that are like older don't do that, and a lot of ones that I watch that are newer don't do that. It was just DVDs during that period of time between like the late '90s to like the early 2000s, I guess. Don't ask me why, but it's like a childhood staple thing that I always like grew up with. So yeah, but yeah, enough about that. The movie was cool. It had some good roles in it. This guy plays Jake, Lindsay Lohan's like love interest essentially, and her mom originally doesn't want her to get with him, but after seeing things from her daughter's perspective, she sees like, okay, maybe this guy isn't so bad after all. Maybe my daughter can get with this guy, which is interesting. And like at first, she didn't. She was like appalled by him, but she eventually grows on him. And there's this weird thing where like her mom, or Anna, who's stuck in her mom's body, gets like starts getting like the hots for Jake. So and then Jake like wants to keep liking her, but she was literally getting married. She was like, I can't date you. So I was like, okay, yeah, and that was kind of funny. But yeah, and then somehow like it works out though. They change bodies back, and then Anna gets to be with Jake, which is cool. And like her mom still gets married, which is a miracle. Because of this, she ends up like giving this speech about like how much she still appreciates Ryan, even though Lindsay Lohan was in her body at the time, or Anna was in her body at the time. She gives this like good speech, and that causes them to trade bodies again. But yeah, it's a cheesy movie. I won't lie. It's not like a very divine film, very exquisite, very state of the art. Like nah, it's not like that. It's not to be taken that seriously. Really, it's just a fun. It's a more fun, casual kids movie is all. But I enjoyed it. I mean, haters gonna hate, but this is a fun movie for me. I mean, a movie doesn't necessarily have to have like really like in depth elements to it, or have like a really like rich plot, or you know in depth characters to it to be like entertaining. Like this movie didn't necessarily have any of that, but I mean it had a lot of funny moments for sure. It was funny throughout. I'd say just to watch Jamie Lee Curtis acting like a child, and Lindsay Lohan trying to act like an adult, fitting in at school, and realizing school life isn't so easy, and getting ridiculed by her teacher, and going through all this stuff. Yeah, I'd say I liked. Yeah, like I said before, I liked Lindsay Lohan when she was playing, her mom. That's more funny than Jamie Lee Curtis, but of course, Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress as well. But yeah, and at the beginning you see like them like arguing, and like the turmoil they're facing together is like they're clashing with Anna wants to be this musician, um, and like her mom is kind of like pushing back on it, and like shuts off her music, and does all this stuff to punish her, and she gets really annoyed, and they have a lot of like clashing, and then they switch bodies, and then that beginning kind of like sets the precedent for what's going to happen, for like how they kind of learn like, oh well, maybe things aren't what they seem, and then they learn to appreciate like what they have to go through, I guess. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, overall, I really like this film. It was fun to watch. I just I could use a film like this in my life, just because like you know sometimes you watch like really really serious movies that like require like really high engagement, and just like are like really violent, or like really serious. But sometimes you need a film like this where it's just like, okay, it's pretty mellow, not too hard to understand. It's pretty basic. But yeah. But with that being said, I have to give this film I'd say 7.7 out of 10. That's the first time I ever given a movie a 7.7. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. But let me know what you think of this movie in the comments if you don't like it or if you do like it or if it was a movie of your childhood. If you were, I mean, like this movie was probably more targeted towards women, but I mean, that's not stopping me. But I mean, this was probably more for like 90s kids or like late 80s kids because it came out in 2003. But, anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.